30% discount at Stone Stopper by Moonstone TM. Find us at moonstonenutrition.com. Here radio. Stone Stopper by Moonstone TM is a doctor-developed, science-backed kidney health solution with 30 MEq of alkali citrate to prevent kidney stones. Available in powders and capsules. Enjoy an exclusive discount with my promo code moonstonenutrition.com. Here radio to get 30% discount. Other shows we have for you to enjoy at myclassicradio.net. The Avengers was most certainly not a household name in South Africa prior to the radio series. With no national television service until 1976, the mechanism simply was not present in the country to show television programs to mass audiences. While many other countries reveled in the filmed adventures of John Steed and Company, South Africa was not equipped to join in the fun. The series took Britain by storm and made a major impression in the American markets, being that greatest of rarities, a British series given a network transmission slot. However, as a filmed series, rather than a videotaped one, The Avengers was able to gain a modicum of exposure in South Africa through film rentals. Come and listen at myclassicradio.net.
We now present The Adventures of Marco Polo. Marco Polo and his companions commenced their journey, and at the end of the first day they dined in the tent of the great Khan. After they had returned to their own tent, Achmet the magician tried to persuade Kubla Khan to poison the Venetians, but the Khan disapproved of the suggestion. That night, Achmet stole out from the camp, and near a sand dune some distance away, he met the rebel Van Chu. Together they plotted to bring about the downfall of Kubla Khan. While they were plotting, Van Chu suspected that they were being spied upon. Closely followed by Achmet, he rushed to the other side of the sand dune, and they saw a man running away towards the camp. Van Chu and Achmet hastily pursued him, but their quarry soon outdistanced them. Then Achmet called a halt.
Stop, Van Chu. It is no use going any further. We are too close to the camp. You must not be seen.
Who is that man?
I know not, but I have my suspicions. I could see that he is a very tall man. And is not Marco Polo a tall man?
Then you think that Marco Polo is spying upon us? I tell you that man must die, Achmet. If the Khan realizes that you are plotting against him, you will be executed.
I know it. The Khan shall not learn of our plot. But we cannot be too careful. Someone must have followed me from the camp.
Think you that our conversation was overheard?
I think not. The spy was hiding on the other side of the sand dune some distance away, and we were speaking very quietly. But I shall make inquiries. I shall find the spy, and he shall die. I shall also see that Marco Polo dies.
The Khan seems to set much store by the friendship of these Venetians. If you destroy them, he may turn against you.
I have great influence with the Khan. I do not think anything would turn him against me. Leave this matter in my hands. But do not fail to carry out my orders. Go now. Tomorrow we will be in the city. I shall meet you at midnight outside the walls. Take no risks and keep out of sight. Let no one suspect that you are near here. And bid your cursed tribesmen to cease the beating of those drums.
It is one of their customs. They beat their drums when an enemy is approaching. I cannot change their customs. But they beat their drums only at night.
Heaven be praised, there will be some peace in the daytime. Now go. I shall speak with you tomorrow.
The next morning, when Niccolo Polo and his brother awoke, they were astonished to find that Marco was still fully clothed and that he had not retired for the night. He was sitting in the sun outside his tent.
Did you have no sleep last night, my son?
No sleep, my father.
Ah, you're a fool, Marco. Everyone needs sleep.
I could not sleep, my Uncle Maffeo. And by remaining awake, I was able to gather some information.
What information?
I wandered away from the camp, and I saw a man walking ahead of me. I followed him until he reached the great sand dunes which lie to the north. There he met another man, and they spoke together for some time. I crept close to them, but all I heard was one man saying that he would bring about the downfall of the great Kublai Khan. Then they saw me, and I had to run for my life.
Who were the men?
That I do not know. But there is someone in this camp who is plotting against Kublai Khan.
You must have dreamt it, Marco. But what use is following a man if you hear nothing of value?
Could you recognize the man?
I think I could, but I have no proof.
The Khan must be warned. It seems that there's a traitor in the camp.
And Toktai warned me against the traitor.
You think that Akmas is a traitor?
I know that we must constantly be on our guard. Ah, the servant comes now with the morning meal. Just place it here. Just there. Now you may leave us.
Oh, I'm hungry.